live from the John Hammond Street at Desawe with digital address number GA0066714. This is Midday Live. I am Portia Gabo. Coming up this afternoon, pressure mount on police to arrest Secretary to the Interministerial Committee on Galamsey, Charles Bisu, following his indictment in the latest ANAS expose. Meanwhile, government says it will investigate the Galamsey expose using raw and edited footages. Also coming up, government refutes allegations it planted security gadgets to record conversations of the NDC executives and its assignees. MO Short Commission investigating violence at Ayawaso West Wagon resumes sitting today. We will cross over live for the latest updates. Coming up in international news, summit between U.S. President Donald Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un ends with no agreement after the U.S. refused North Korean demands for sanctions relief. We first begin with this breaking news, and President Akufo-Addo, following the creation of 6 new administrative regions in the country, has nominated the following persons to be appointed as regional ministers and deputy regional ministers, and this is subject to the approval by Parliament. They are Evelyn Amakumi Richardson. She has been nominated for the Bono region. Kofi Amwako-Hene, Minister Designate for the Bono East region. Salifu Adam Brahima, Minister Designate for the Savannah region. Solomon Boa has been nominated as Minister for the Northeast region. Kingsley Abuaji Jedu has been nominated as Minister for the Western North region. Kwabena Otredaku Mensah has been nominated as Minister for the Western region. Kwesi Owusu Yeboah, Minister Designate for the OT region. Honorable Siaka Stevens has been nominated as Deputy Minister for the Bono region. Benjamin Yeboah Setre has been nominated as Deputy Minister for the Ahafo region. Benjamin Yeboah Setre, Deputy Minister for Ahafo region. Samuel Tika has been nominated as Deputy Minister for the Savannah region. Tahiru Tia Ahmed has been nominated as Deputy Minister for the Northeast region. John Benham has been nominated as Deputy Minister for the Northern region. Alex Tete has been nominated as Deputy Minister for the Western North region. And Johnson Avulete has been nominated as Deputy Minister for the Volta region, and these nominations are subject to the approval by Parliament. Let's now continue with the rest of our stories. And Secretary of the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, Charles Bisu, has been indicted in the latest expose of investigative journalist Anas Arimiyao Anas. He's seen accepting money to fast-track some documents.
The investigative piece titled "The Galamsey Fraud" comes on the back of the explosive work titled Number 12 by Anas Arimiyao Anas. The narrative on Galamsey fraud suggests it is the first of a series on illegal mining and individuals bent on circumventing the rules for personal aggrandizement. In one of the scenes, Charles Bisu, who is the secretary to the committee, is seen helping fast-track documents without due diligence to allow a mining company begin operations.
Because we have to make sure you fast-track with the say brand new year 9 on them working centrally. All resources, what's the situation?
It hasn't come up yet. Let me quickly check.
Some police and military officers who are members of the Anti-Galamsey Task Force responsible for ensuring that people do not mine illegally, are also seen in a compromising manner receiving money to protect illegal miners. In March 2017, President Akufo-Addo inaugurated the Inter-Ministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, IMCIM, to come up with a road map to ensure that activities of small-scale miners are well regulated in order to prevent people from mining illegally.
And to help us look at the fallout of this expose is co-founder of the Citizen Movement Against Corruption, Adamson. Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. Adam, you must be worried as an anti-corruption campaigner, knowing that someone who was appointed by the president is himself caught taking bribe.
It's so frightening and disappointing. It's so frightening and disappointing. I mean, none of us would expect that this caliber of appointment would result in an individual who is supposed to protect the interests of the public being engaged in facilitating this activity. It's just so, I don't know what words to use.
So, Adam, another corruption allegation has erupted. Briefly, does it appear that Ghana will get anywhere in the fight against corruption?
Well, yes, to the extent that we have investigative journalists who are exposing these kinds of people, we have every reason to believe that we can make progress in the fight against corruption. Because once these are found, I would expect that the necessary processes are undertaken to find them culpable and to sanction them. So there is hope, except that it is so disappointing where you have individuals who are supposed to do things on our behalf, themselves now facilitating. I mean, I don't know what words to use.
Adam, there are concerns that he's still not been arrested. Elsewhere, he would have stepped down. Does this worry you?
Sorry, come again. There are concerns that
he's still not been arrested, Mr. Bisu. Does it worry you? Because elsewhere, he should have stepped down.
Yes, I think that immediately the police should take action to invite him. If he doesn't have any substantive, it depends on the weight of the evidence. I mean, action should already be taken to assure Ghanaians that people don't get away with things like this. So yes, it is an issue of concern if he has not yet been invited and a questioning started. It also depends on whether the investigators have made this information available to the police and other bodies that ought to act on it.
Okay. And then before you go, should the special prosecutor handle this case?
I think it should be of interest to the special prosecutor. I think it should be of interest to the special prosecutor.
Thank you very much for your time, and I've been speaking with Adamson. You're still watching Midday Live from the News Hub, and the chairman and members of the Ayawaso West Wuogon By-Election Commission of Inquiry will be visiting the scenes of the violence on Friday. In a media release, the commission said the visit to the site of the event and its environment is in line with their mandate under CI 111. The visit, the commission says, is a fact-finding exercise designed to apprise and furnish the commission with evidence in relation to evidence presented before it. And Member of Parliament for Tamale North, Al-Hassan Suyini, has criticized the police administration for inviting the national chairman of the NDC over a leaked tape making rounds on social media. The Tamale North MP argued the Director General of the Police CID had no moral right to investigate the alleged leaked tape since she failed to probe her own tape that was reportedly leaked. But a Deputy Director of Communications for the NPP, Richard Ayadma, said the NDC chairman must take responsibility for the tape and apologize to Ghanaians, and they spoke on New Day.
I am saying that is reprehensible, it's unacceptable, it's nation-wrecking, and we all Ghanaians must stand up and talk against this thing.
The police,
I am saying
the police CID has invited the chairman to appear first. Do you think it will go anywhere?
Well, it should go anywhere. It should go everywhere, and you and I should make sure it goes wherever it must go. Because this is our country. Forget about my party. Forget about his party. Let's talk about Ghana.
Okay.
And we understand that, look, things that happen in other places just didn't happen overnight. These are some of the machinations. These are some of the culture and the thinking that split people apart and create a situation that makes it fertile for bad things to happen. And I say the NDC should bow their head in shame. They know what they are doing, and what they are doing is not good for Ghana.
I sit here today and I am sick in my stomach that some colleagues of mine, when I was in this business, made me feel I was doing an unethical thing by playing leak tapes. And it makes me sick that today they are jumping over themselves to play leak tapes and discuss it on their platforms. When I played leak tapes of Bugri Nabo talking about how they were going to chase Afoko out, even before it happened, I was said to be unethical on Radio Gold. When I played leak tapes about, Kofi Juma and the things he said, I was said to be unethical, and that it was unethical journalism. It's sickening that those same people today are jumping over themselves, transcribing leak tapes on their platforms. It's sickening. Again, it is sickening that Mrs. Adudankwa, I'm talking about the CID boss. Mrs. Adudankwa, that's her name, Mrs. Adudankwa, is today minded to investigate leak tapes. When her own tape came out, what investigation has she done? Where is the report of the investigation of her own tape? Didn't she deny it? Didn't she say it was doctored? Was her saying so enough? Today, she's minded. And the curious thing is that the letter inviting even the chairman gets to the media before the chairman. Why are we bastardizing our institutions like that? So I agree with him. It's sickening.
Meanwhile, Information Minister Kojo Nkrumah has refuted allegations by the NDC that government has planted secret gadgets in its offices to spy on them. At a press conference to respond to reactions from the leaked audio recordings of the NDC chairman, Mr. Nkrumah said government plans to protect persons mentioned in the tape while the police begin investigations to ascertain the seriousness of the statement. He says government takes seriously any conspiracy to create insecurity among the people. On recent investigations by Tiger IPI about Galamsey, the minister said government welcomes any move to fight Galamsey and will soon require the raw video footage to investigate before an action can be taken against the culprits.
The government of Ghana takes notice of accusations by a political party in Ghana, the National Democratic Congress, that the government has bugged the offices of the said party and doctored a tape recording of a meeting of its leadership, which tape appears to show the leadership of the said party conspiring to create insecurity in the country. For the avoidance of doubt, the government responds as follows. 1, that the government of Ghana, as a matter of policy and practice, does not bug the offices or homes of political parties and their leadership. Indeed, it is not the policy or practice of the government of Ghana to illegally interfere with the privacy or communication of persons or organizations in Ghana. To do so will be an infringement on the constitutional provisions of privacy. Government therefore finds it distasteful that the said party chooses to bring the name of the state into disrepute in its attempt to respond to queries about the validity and origins of the said conspiratorial conversation. The practice of accusing the state and seeking to portray to the global community of democratic watchers that the state is involved in some illegality, that practice is unpatriotic and has the potential to undermine the growing respect that Ghana has for its resilient democracy and respect for the rule of law. Now, while the Akufo-Addo administration cannot speak for past administrations, including the immediate past NDC administration, this administration does not and has not bugged offices of political parties, its key actors individuals or organizations for that matter. Government welcomes any effort aimed at assisting in succeeding in the fight against illegal small-scale mining. Government has also taken notice of a documentary by Tiger IPI that suggests that it has uncovered acts that undermine the fight against illegal small-scale mining. Government will have the said tapes properly investigated using the raw unedited footage, and if any persons are found to have solicited monies or taken bribes to bend rules, the necessary action will be taken.
You're still watching Midday Live from the News Hub. In other news, sitting has resumed at the Emil Short Commission hearing investigating the Ayawaso West gun violence, and hearing began with the Superintendent Kwesi Fori telling the commissioners his role on the day. We now speak to Godfrey Tanam, who is currently at the briefing at the Osu Castle in Accra. And good afternoon, Godfrey. And Superintendent Kwesi Fori has already testified, we understand. What did he say? Hello, Godfrey. Godfrey Tanam, can you hear me? Well, Godfrey Tanam is currently at the hearing at the Osu Castle, and early on, Superintendent Kwesi Fori testified. Let's hear him.
Yes, it's a cost. It's the cost of storage. We wanted to minimize the cost of storage.
Section 97 of our service instructions. And yesterday, for the information of the commission, yesterday the revised document, which meets contemporary needs, was adored yesterday at the police headquarters.
I'm here to lay my hands on one. I hope I will be provided with one.
Yes, and my opinion may be based on the former service instructions. I don't know what the new one contains, but the one that we've been using, definitely the officers need, even after shooting, you are right or not, some administrative inquiry of the sort need to take place by our rules and regulations. Absolutely. As to the conduct of the operation, whether the operation went bad, good, and whether there are some lessons to be learned from that, to prepare for future operations, not only for their consumption, but the consumption of all police officers. And I believe that administrative tribunal to come in to assess the performance of the person.
But you have made no formal written reports within your own unit as to how the operational orders were carried out. So how are you going to assist in an inquiry like that, which ought to take place? I agree with you.
As I said, we had a meeting at the operational level regarding our activity, and we noted certain things which I earlier on put across, like in future at the operational and tactical levels, we need to collaborate. But the written report has not been put, but it is not too late. It could be done.
I hope you are assuring me that it will be done.
Definitely, my lord.
Thank you very much.
Before I hand over to my colleague to my left, Chief Superintendent, you said that you would have an inquiry as to why empty shells were not picked by police officers who fired their guns, right?
Yes, my lord. Not only that, but for the fact.
Hold on a second. Do you know whether these empty shells came from guns that were fired by police officers or the SWAT team? Can you speak with any certainty as to the origin of these empty shells? The people who fired the guns from which these empty shells were left on the ground?
My Lord, as a former investigator of the Criminal Investigation Department for 11 years, every weapon has its language. The way it was fired, and the way it was fired. And if all those weapons that were fired on that day, the ballistic expert may need those weapons. And all the empty shells so taken from the scene, when examined, and they are fired from those weapons, when it's done by the expert, a ballistic expert, they may know.
Before the live coverage, Superintendent Kwesi Fori made some comments at the hearing, and let's watch him. Well, let's go back to the Castle where my colleague Godfred Tanam is standing by. Godfred, we just heard from Superintendent Kwesi Fori. Can you tell us who else will appear before the commissioners today? Hello, Godfred.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so far the commission has not yet communicated exactly who will be appearing after Chief Superintendent Kwesi Fori.
Okay, I understand they will also visit Lab Bawaleshi on Friday. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so the commission will be visiting the area tomorrow to get first-hand information on exactly what happened and also look at some of the evidence presented to the commission by some of the witnesses concerning the area. So they will be going there tomorrow by 10 a.m. The commission will be there to look at exactly what happened and then do some fact-finding session there.
Thank you very much for your time, and my colleague Godfred Tanam is at the Osu Castle. You're still watching Midday Live from the News Hub. Let's go to the Ashanti region, and the greenery landscapes around the Asafo interchange in Kumasi are disappearing as transport operators and either private developers take over, and business is brisk around the facility without recourse to safety precautions. Ashanti Regional Correspondent Ibrahim Abubakar has been comparing the current state of the Asafo interchange with the Square interchange.
The Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly has maintained the greenery state of the Asukwa interchange 7 years after its construction. The assembly continues to plant flowers and trim the lawns as part of beautifying and making Kumasi green. But the situation at Asafo interchange is totally different. This interchange used to be greenery, just like the Asukwa interchange. However, lack of commitment on the part of city authorities to maintain the beauty of the Asafo interchange has led to its current state. A private developer has erected one-story building on one side of the interchange, whilst transport operators have also created a terminal on the other side. Some concerned residents in Kumasi are not happy with the development.
For opportunities. I'm park on cars. We call upon my stations. I don't know, so any allow say intimacy. Yes, from said the Maboma as point that you know, ISano, amongst Yama as for the so and yes, as for interchange now, dear Omaya on my wire basa. First, of course, station on the about and we has interchange as the better station. Oh, secondary, almost we mad people so need a hot dirty. A whole united and tantika, your best rest, penny say, na a moment when you praying. Interchange as a day, yes, and your mano, sa basabasani now, your best rest as a pamo crime through.
In urban planning, we must take into account the green spaces. And that's where, again, the trees, the greeneries, not only trees, grass, they all absorb carbon dioxide. So they become the important sinks that then make life bearable In developing sustainable cities, we need to take into account all these elements, including the green spaces. Then we can be sure that human life and property can be protected. But if it's all just concrete jungle, without anything to protect human lives and property, then we are heading for danger.
The general concern is that residents want city authorities to take immediate steps to restore the green state of the Asafo interchange. The green environment absorbs carbon dioxide and provides oxygen for our living. Ibrahim Abubakar, TV3, Kumasi.
Thank you very much, Ibrahim. Away from the Ashanti region, the Veteran Administration of Ghana is asking government to increase the stipend of veterans to enable them address the cost of living and also improve on their health care. And chairman of the association interacted with our correspondent Daniel Opoku at the commemoration of the 71st celebrations of the fallen heroes, which occurred in 1948.
The celebration was to commemorate the 3 soldiers who lost their lives in 1948 during a procession to the castle. Sergeant Ajete, Corporal Atipo, and Private Odate Lamte were killed over a demand for better conditions of service. The Vice President, Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia, laid a wreath on behalf of government, while Lieutenant General Obed Akwa did same for the security services. Major retired Yache also laid a wreath for the veterans, and Osumanche Nikinka Dewona did same for the traditional leaders. David Hammond, who is the head of the King's family, laid another wreath for fallen soldiers. Chairman of the Veteran Administration of Ghana, Major retired Yache, asked government to consider increasing their stipend.
It's not enough. That's it. That's all I can say.
That is not enough. How much would you want to be given? Do you have any fair?
No, we've made recommendations, and I'm sure government is looking at them to make sure that the situation is improved.
He also called for assistance in healthcare.
Healthcare is very expensive, especially for people who are old. Their diseases are not the minor ones, headaches and sores and things. They are major. That have to do with hypertension. They have to have sugar problem, prostate, and so on. And to take care of this and manage them is very, very expensive.
The 1948 shooting incident was reenacted.
You're still watching Midday Live from the News Hub. Let's now focus on education. A total of 7,432 teachers have failed in the maiden teacher licensure examination. Results released by the National Teaching Council has shown. Per the results of the over 28,000 teachers who wrote the exam, a little over 21,000, representing 74%, passed the exams. And the results of 26 candidates have been withheld pending the completion of investigations into their alleged involvement in examination malpractice, while 12 have had their entire results cancelled. The Executive Secretary of the NTC, Dr. Evelyn Osodo, says even though there were failures, the outcome of the examination was encouraging, particularly so when it was the maiden edition. And joining me on the phone line is the former president of the Teacher Trainees Association of Ghana, Jonathan Apam. And good afternoon and thanks for joining us.
Good afternoon and thank you for having me on the line.
First of all, what do you make of the outcome of the result? Over 7,000 teachers failing.
All right, thank you very much. I want to congratulate those who have been able to make it through these exams, and also congratulate those who haven't been able to make it. It's just a trial, so you can keep on trying. Our general impression is that at least we have tried our best to be able to get 74%, because looking at the situations that were surrounding the exams, because it was the first time and the guidelines were not given on time, materials were not given on time, and so on and so forth. I think that has brought about the failure of some few of us. I would say that generally all trainees who wrote these exams have at least tried their best and have come out with, I think, that the best results that we could have amidst the situation. And what we would say that going forward, National Teaching Council have to put system in place so that someone wouldn't blame them for failure or any other thing later on. Because looking at the situations that happen around the exams, anyone at all is obliged to blame National Teaching Council for his or her failure because of materials insufficiency at the time and because of insufficient orientation towards it, because that was the first time we are writing it, and it looks a little different from what we've been writing so far at the Institute of Education. And so generally, I would say that the 74% is a good mark, but it needs further improvement as we move on.
Okay, you already told us about what contributed to the failure. So the over 7,000 teachers, should they still teach our children in school?
Sorry, come again, I didn't hear you.
I was saying the over 7,000 teachers who failed, should they still teach our children in school?
Well, thank you very much. I think that currently those who have failed and those who have passed, all of them are in the field doing their national service. So if you failed or you've not failed, you are still doing your national service. And I think that when you fail an exam, that is not all. Another opportunity will be given, and I'm told that in March, just this coming March, an opportunity will be given to them to rewrite, to be able to redeem themselves. Just like the law students fail their license exams, just like the nursing students fail their license exams, that is what has also happened in the college. And I'm not sure that when the law students fail their exams, they are allowed to go home and they cannot become lawyers again. So those who have failed, that is not the end of it. They will have the chance to rewrite and redeem themselves so that when time comes for recruitment or employment by Ghana Education Service, they will be added or they will be employed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pam, for your time. You're still watching Midday Live from the News Hub, and news just coming in indicates that President Akufo-Addo has nominated the following persons to be appointed as regional and deputy regional ministers, subject to the approval by Parliament. They are Evelyn Amakumi Richardson. She's been nominated for the Bono region. Kofi Amwakuhene, nominated for the Bono East region. Salifu Adam Brahima, nominated for the Savannah region. Solomon Boa has been nominated for the Northeast region. Kinsley Abwaji Jedu for the Western North region. Kwabena Otredaku Mensa for the Western region. Kwesia Wusu Yeboah, Minister Designate for the OT region. Siaka Stevens as Deputy Minister for the Bono region. Benjamin Yeboah Setre has been nominated as Deputy Minister for the Ahafo region. Samuel Yeyu Tika has been nominated as Deputy Minister for the Savannah region. Tahiru Tia Ahmed has been nominated as Deputy Minister for the Northeast region. John Benham also nominated as Deputy Minister for the Northern region. Alex Tete as Deputy Minister for the Western North region, and Johnson Avulete has been nominated as Deputy Minister for the Volta region. You're still watching Midday Live. Coming up is the MTN video report, and today our citizen journalist Sia Jacobs reports on the state of an electrical pole at Domi Pillar 2 in the Greater Accra region.
This electrical pole is on the verge of collapsing. I fear it might not only destroy lives but also millions worth of properties in case it collapses. We as residents feel threatened, and we therefore call on authorities to rapidly address this problem, since this is one of the major roads in this vicinity.
You can also send your video reports via WhatsApp on the number 055-1433-044. You're still watching Midday Live from the News Hub. We have more news coming up shortly. Do stay with us. In business news this afternoon, government has secured 80 million euros from the United Kingdom to rehabilitate the Kumasi market. Vice President Dr. Bawumia made this known on his return from a business summit in the United Kingdom.
The Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, was in the United Kingdom for a business summit. In the UK, he interacted with the managers of the stock exchange and other business moguls. Discussions in the United Kingdom also centered on boosting investment and trade between the two countries. After the various deliberations, the Vice President secured $80 million to rehabilitate the Kumasi market. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia said part of the amount would be used to spearhead Ghana Beyond Aid agenda.
We have $56 million support for an international terminal at Tamale Airport, and we have 20 million euro support to complete the Bekwai Hospital, which has been, I think, in a state of uncompletion for quite a while.
He again explained how Ghana would sustain trade and investment with the United Kingdom after exiting from the Brexit.
We expect that whatever we are going to put in place by March 29th would be sufficient not to disrupt any trade between Ghana and the UK post-Brexit.
Another round of meeting with the United Kingdom has been scheduled in October this year.
In other news, a report that assesses the impact of external shocks on Ghana's economy has revealed the cedi's depreciation against the dollar is expected to continue throughout the year as global events show more external threats ahead. The report, put together by the Bank of Ghana's research department, shows the situation could induce a marginal increase in the domestic inflation rate and a sharp rise in interest rates.
An expected slowdown in the U.S. and Chinese economies alongside policy rate hikes in the U.S., strengthening the U.S. dollar and the higher crude prices will all impact Ghana's economy negatively, leading to a significant deterioration in the exchange rate. The results show that a simultaneous slowdown in the world's two largest economies will dampen GDP growth in Ghana, induce a significant deterioration in the exchange rate, and induce a marginal increase in the domestic inflation rate and a sharp rise in interest rates. The report further shows that about 40% of the variation in Ghana's real GDP growth is accounted for by external influences. What this essentially means is that any activity, be it positive or negative, which happens with Ghana's trading partner countries, can affect economic growth by 40%. The report recommends that policymakers should implement measures that can absorb some of the external shocks to mitigate their effect on the local economy. It proposes measures like fiscal discipline, reduction in external debt, building forex buffers, continuing with ongoing disinflation process, and appropriate monetary policy measures to stabilize the economy.
And that's it for business news. Coming up as sports news.
Hello, good afternoon. It's time to do sports here on Midday Live. My name is Yao Ofusulabi. Now, our first story relates to the Normalization Committee, and its chairman, Dr. Kofi Amwani, insists he won't quit his post in reaction to reports that he intends to resign. The reports have suggested Dr. Kofi Amwani will leave the job in advance of the March 31st deadline for the committee by FIFA, but he has flatly denied those rumors. Now, Dr. Kofi Amwani says those reports are fabrications and is adamant throwing in the towel now will merely derail the job of normalizing Ghana football. The businessman has faced major objection in his bid to normalize Ghana football. Ghana Premier League clubs had opposed Amwa's plans for a special competition to resurrect competitive football in particular, but he insists he has no regrets about pushing through with his plans. Amwa's term, alongside the rest of the Normalization Committee, is due to end on March the 31st. On our some more stories, and Black Satellites winger Emmanuel Toku has joined Portuguese Primeira Liga side Boa Vista Football Club. Now the 18-year-old joins Boa Vista on a one and a half year deal from Ghanaian lower tier side Cheetah Football Club. Now Toku was spotted by the club whilst playing at the Under-17 FIFA World Cup last year in India and has had to wait until he turned 18 to be given a professional contract by the club. Now, the winger will be expected to carve his way into the senior side of the Portugal-based team. Now, the start of construction phase for Mediama Sporting Club's new stadium has been marked. Now, the Takwa NA Aboso Park is being demolished to pave way for a reconstruction of a 13 million 10,000-seater stadium. The revamped venue will also feature a complete seating capacity and involves redesigning the pitch, VIP, media stands, ticket booths, drainage, amongst others. Mediama is the most successful team in the Western region after winning the FA Cup twice. Basketball. Our final story this afternoon, basketball in Africa is set to be given a facelift as the NBA proposed a league format for African countries. Now, the decision is to set up a professional basketball league in Africa that will feature 12 teams from several countries across the continent. In this report, my colleague Nana Kweku Anderson finds out what the league means for Africa and also for young Ghanaian players.
The league, which commences in 2020, will include teams from several African countries, including Angola, Egypt, Kenya, Morocco, Nigeria, Rwanda, Senegal, South Africa, and Tunisia. There was no place for Ghana when the names of the countries included in the league were mentioned, due to the relative unpopularity of the sport in the country. However, Ghana could be included in the coming years if the modalities of sport grow. Ghanaians have been drafted in by a team in the NBA. The future, however, is bright as many more talents are pushing to reach the top. It might be a long road for Ghana to enter the league, but Frederick Asante, who plays his basketball for the Accra Technical University, believes with time Ghana will make it to the league.
Actually, when I heard of it, I thought it was going to be great for us but unfortunately I didn't see Ghana in the list, and it really pained me because we are trying all we could here, but then it's like we are not recognized nationwide. But we hope for the best. Our human beings, trust me, we have better basketball players in the country. Just that because we are not recognized internationally, they don't know what we can do. I believe that Ghana can do. Forget Nigeria, they are all countries, they are all human beings like us. The work they put in, we put in the same work in here. So why can't we do it? We can also do it.
Coach of the Accra Technical University, Jeffrey Jimate, believes Ghana has enough talent, but there is still a lot to be done to catch up with the selected countries for the league.
We are supposed to benefit because we are also an African country, but our disadvantage and the things that we lack maybe couldn't merit us to join the competition, because I think all other countries that were selected are high, are high in basketball. I mean, with their infrastructure, their system is higher than ours. Our league, their league is also high, is highly recognized. So I think it's difficult for us to break in. If we put our structures in place, our systems in place, I think we can match them. I mean, with the talent we are there, it's a big thing, and we need to brand ourselves well too. So when they come, they will come and feed into our league. They see what they can get, and then when it's good, they help us do it. So I think Ghana has to change a whole lot of things, and then the association also has to do better in the way they put their system in place, and then the government has to also come in. Highly, they have to come in, because it's a national thing. If they put up a national gym, it will help. It will serve a bigger purpose, not only for basketball, but probably other indoor games as well.
Well, on that note, we end the sports segment this afternoon here on Midday Live. My name is Yao Ofosulab. International news is next.
In this segment, a summit between U.S. President Donald Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un ended with no agreement after the U.S. refused North Korean demands for sanctions relief. And speaking at a news conference after the summit in the Vietnamese capital of Hanoi, Donald Trump said no plans had been made for a third summit. And that's it for international news. Coming up is entertainment news. And nominations for this year's Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards are out, and some big names stand a chance of earning an orange blimp this year. And BIM Nation boss Stonebwoy, known in real life as Livingstone Eche Satikla, have been nominated. The reggae and Afro dancehall musician earned a nod for the favorite African star category alongside Adeswa Itomi Wellington, IK and Salty Soul from Kenya. The show recognizes Nickelodeon viewers in movies, TV and online entertainment. The 32nd Annual Kids' Choice Awards will be held and hosted by DJ Khaled on March 23. Well, kids across the globe will have a front row seat to the next big things in kid culture, from the hottest upcoming movies, music, gaming and rising talent, while continuing to celebrate their favorites from the past year. Okay. And almost every year, social media goes agog with viral challenges. Well, coming up, we'll bring you the latest. That is the Resurrection Challenge.
Social media keeps buzzing with new viral trends that bring people to partake in the joyful challenge. While there were some like the deadly hashtag One Corner that got people criticizing it, others like the Amanas Challenge, hashtag the Kitchen Stool Challenge, Azugu Max Challenge, and the hashtag 10-Year Challenge has been a source of stress release and grip to social media users. The latest is the Resurrection Challenge, where people pretend to have been resurrected from death. This challenge seems to be mockingly mimicking the miraculous powers of a South African-based pastor, Alf Lukau, who claims to have resurrected a man from the dead.
Man is commanding life. Rise up! Yes! Come on!
The self-acclaimed Queen of GH, Efiasho Asnega, and other internet users took up the challenge as they recorded various resurrection challenges.
Mother Bashi, the man of God is at work. Mother Bashi, rising up, rising. Hallelujah, hallelujah. God is.
You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas.
This video has sparked some biblical controversies online, and the question is it real?
Raise me up so I can stand on mountains.
On that resurrection note, that's it for Midday Live. Thanks so much for watching. I am Portia Gabo. Enjoy the rest of our programs. Good afternoon.